Like, for example, Luka bought a house and they said he cried about it.
I don't think that's that tough to like let some players know, like, you know, I mean, when they do the deal, like, hey, call me first.
You would think. It's like, man, this is the team that drafted me number 2 overall. And now they're telling me that, nah, we feel like you just ain't good enough.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
What's up, world? We're back with another episode of the pod. Today's episode, man, in the first segment, I want to get into our locker room talk. I'm here with my brother and co-host, Nieman Johnson. We're going to talk about how we linked up, the ups and downs of life as a manager, and plenty more. But first, I want to get into some league talk. This past trade deadline came up. It was crazy, a lot of up and downs right before the Super Bowl. The Luka trade was obviously crazy. Jimmy got traded to the Warriors. Everyone and their mother tried to get KD, and nobody made it happen. So, Neem, how do we feel about that? And what do we feel about the setups? Who stands out right now?
Yeah.
And what do we think?
I think right off the bat, I think Nico wants to win one. He got a taste. I mean, well, Nico and the ownership. I mean, because like Nico became super popular than this guy, you know what I mean? Quickly. But yeah, the Dallas Mavericks organization got a taste of what the finals and the championship could be, and they want that right now. And they made some really good moves to get there. You know, this show air a little later, but AD is going crazy right now as we speak.
That's a fact.
I think with them adding Caleb just showed me that he really is serious about defense, and that was like if people were wondering if he was just saying that about Luka as far as like being out of shape and not really playing defense, and he just said that and it was something else that happened. I think them adding Caleb, you know, we spend a good amount of time with Caleb. We understand who he is and what he brings to the table, which is he's a lockup defender. You seen Caleb in the playoffs, you know, as a proven playoff player. He can go crazy if you let him, if you know what I mean, whatever role you need him to play. So he's battle tested in the playoffs. I think that was another great addition. I think they're going to be really, really good. They're at AFC now. They're going to move up. What do you think about the Dallas?
Yeah, I think that Dallas is definitely trying to win now. I think that the Lakers made a trade to win in their future, and planning for the future and having a face for their organization for the next few years. You know, obviously the addition with Caleb Martin, like you said, I think that's huge. Obviously, we play with him. I mean, arguably, he probably could have won that Eastern Conference MVP. Really, yeah. Arguably, it was close. But you know, I think there's been a lot of. I like what Cleveland did with DeAndre Hunter, adding him to that mix too. I think that was pretty good as well. But we're going to have to wait and see. I mean, the second half of the year is always fun. You know what? One thing that you said about Nico and Dallas is they were serious about defense. And, you know, it's obviously an offensive league, has always been. You know, offense sells. But if you guys that don't really know the game and, you know, just kind of fans, if the best teams that win championships always are in top 5 or if not number 1 in defense. So I think that's why he understood. If you watched the finals last year, you know, it was tough, you know, for Luka and some other guys to match up with their wings, Boston's wings. So I think he's attributing his additions to making sure that doesn't happen again. But you know, that's the key. You know, I mean, I've heard it many times in my career. Like the best teams have the best defenses. So, you know, clearly he's trying to do something big over there. But we're gonna see, man. The second half of the year is always a lot more fun than the first half. Guys, you know, it's been a lot of trades, a lot of subtractions and additions. So we'll see who will make a run.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland is like 1 or 2 record-wise. But they still, I think DeAndre Hunter made their bench a lot better.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, it's yet
I
to
think
be
he might
seen.
start, bro.
You think so? I mean, either way, I think he makes their team better.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, it was a great addition. Not that they needed anything, I don't think, but they did. I mean, it shows like, okay, they want to win it too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think that the Jimmy trade. What do you think about the Jimmy trade?
I'm just glad that he's in a better situation as far as his peace of mind goes, because, you know, I know firsthand it's tough to play basketball when you don't have peace of mind. As far as the style of play, I'm interested to see how it works. You know, Golden State is more of like a run and gun, get a bunch of threes up, and, you know, push the pace type of team. And I don't necessarily know if that's Jimmy's game. You know, I could be wrong. So I'm excited to see how he fits, you know, with their team and their style of play too. So, but, you know, it's been crazy. Obviously, everybody been seeing it, but I think everybody's just kind of happy that a deal got done in general, and that, you know, he was able to get his extension. He seems happy, and, you know, the Heat got pretty solid players back as well, and Andrew Wiggins and some other guys too. So
I would be very I would really want to know Steph's thoughts on it. And it to me, it showed how powerful Steph is over there, in a sense of like, he just kind of voiced what he wanted and they moved really quickly to get someone. But I wonder if he thinks in his like private talks in his heart that was something that was like helpful for him to like win one.
You know, that's a great question. You know, that's interesting, and I think they just needed something. You know, I feel like it was at a point where, you know, I think, what was it, maybe 2 or 3 years ago they had just won one, and, you know, I think right now they understand that Steph is preparing to be on his way out. So they trying to put all let the chips fall where they may and make a move to make a run, make another run. So
yeah,
we'll see how it works.
I think it's like important that Steph voices that towards the end of his career to just help other players when it's their time to kind of, you know, like you understand like when it's kind of time. Like Brian kind of understands it's about to be time, Steph. And there was a time we were in a gym and I was talking to Rip, and
Rip is Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton.
Yeah.
And he was just saying like, man, I had a tough time with that, like letting basketball go.
Yeah.
He said it took him like 2 or 3 years to kind of like really just acclimate to like, okay, I'm not playing basketball anymore, you know, you know, I think he if he were to tell it, he would probably say like, I probably should have started prepping a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. I've seen D'Angelo Russell do a little interview about his moments with Kobe, and one of the things Kobe taught him was prepare for retirement while you're playing. Don't wait till after you're done playing.
Yeah,
I think that's great advice, not only for D'Angelo but with all sports and all athletes, because, you know, a lot of us aren't necessarily 4-year degree students who, you know, made a plan, you know, to have a backup plan prior to us, you know, entering the leagues that we're in. So I think, you know, just understanding that even in the midst of doing everything you can to be as great as you possibly can at your sport, you can still prepare for the future as well. And I think that's really important. Another thing, like Steph's that you said something about Steph Curry that Steph has said that really stood out to me was he was really vulnerable in saying how, you know, he does have anxiety before games, you know, and before games that, you know, he does get anxious to have to hold up to a standard and hold himself to a standard and make sure everyone else does before every game. And, the next thing we're going to talk about is mental health and, how that kind of affects guys as far as trades go and, how guys have to deal with that too in sport. Because a lot of times I feel like, they think we're superhuman. And because we play a sport and because we make so much money doing it, that, they kind of don't necessarily give us that credit of being human in a sense, like, and having human emotions and having feelings towards things as well. And so what do you think about, Neem, about how, guys are, like, for example, Luka bought a house and they said he cried about it, saying, about being traded. And there's been so many stories like that in the past from, Lamar Odom getting traded from the Lakers. I've had my own personal stories and everything. So how do you think mental health, impacts players when decisions are made and just things happen in general in sports?
Yeah, just being close to it, the times where you have been traded and like, some of the homies been traded, and it's like, it's tough. And I would recommend that you just right off the bat, like, understand that it's a business, like, and just get that in your brain and in your, emotion quick as possible, and try to get as emotionless about the business aspect of it as possible, because it's going to happen, like, no matter who you are. And this Luka trade is showing that, like, no matter who you are, it's going to happen. But I do think, like what Ant was saying, was like, hey, man, if y'all going to trade me, let me know. You know what I mean? I don't think that's that tough to, like, let some players know, like, when they do the deal, like, hey, call me first.
You would think.
And let me know, and, maybe they could be a little more accommodating, in the sense of, like, we was joking about it, but and Dennis is really close to us. Dennis Schroeder is like, that's one of our really, really close friends. Mm-hmm. He was playing for the Warriors, and the announcement came out that he got traded to the Jazz in the middle of that game, which was like, how awkward is that? We was joking like, yo, should he walk over?
Just walk across.
Like, should he walk across, or like? But it's like, I remember one time, Vic was in San Francisco. They had just played the Warriors.
This was
and boom, he get traded like right after the game, and he's in his room, and like gets the news like, oh, I'm traded, and I'm on the phone with him. Somebody is coming to knock on the door. Another person coming to check in his room. Like, it's like, so he's dealing with like, oh man, I'm traded. And then they like, yeah, this is my room. And he's like, what? And then it's like, it was interesting because he had to set up like his way to Houston, his own way, because the team was going to Portland. And it was like, I think they could just do it a little better. I get it that it's a business, but I think there is a human aspect to it where, like, we can get emotionless and handle it better, but I think they can handle it a little better too. And, AE was joking about it, and was joking about it, but it's kind of serious. Like, hey, call me first before you do. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think that my own personal experience, I've been traded many times. My own personal experience, I think that we're in a world that kind of is, smoke and mirrors when it comes to money. I think because we have millions of dollars and because we get paid all this money, they think that it compensates for the emotions that human beings have. Mm-hmm. So they think that if you have a lot of money, then you shouldn't be upset. Then you shouldn't be, because you get millions. But at the end of the day, we had these emotions even before I even knew what a dollar was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think that, I've been traded, like recently they talk about how Luka got traded at 25. And granted, I'm not going to sit here and say I was anything on the level of Luka was offensively, but defensively I was on the same level as he is offensively.
Yeah.
And I got traded at 24. I got traded my third year in the league. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know. I got traded. I had no idea I was getting traded, and I cried in my driveway. I had just bought a house in Orlando too. Only thing is, we ain't had it was Instagram's second or third year. It wasn't like social media was booming like it was now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just interesting to me sitting back saying, like, because I was the number 2 pick. Like, the number 2 pick don't get traded. You're supposed to be at in the, you know, your same organization for a while. I mean, and then I got traded, and then boom, I go to OKC. I play there a year. Boom, I get traded again after 1 year.
Talk to him about why you was felt the way, like why you was crying.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I felt the way, and I was emotional about it because it came out of nowhere. I had no idea. Like, you know, my intuition obviously speaks to me as Neem real close, obviously. But, you know, obviously the day before I got traded, I had went in there, and this was when I was with the Magic, and I could just tell, like, people are terrible at hiding things. Like, people aren't really good. They don't have very good poker faces, like my man right here. You know, so I kind of knew, but I didn't know, and I didn't necessarily want to believe it. I just bought a crib, you know what I'm saying? I was ready to, you know, and I felt like I was improving every year over there, you know what I mean? And, you know, it was tough for me to deal with because, you know, again, like, it was embarrassing for me. Like, it wasn't like now how, you know, everybody get traded at this point. Like, I mean, if Luka getting traded, and now the whole narrative is nobody safe. Like, it's, you know, everyone get traded now. Like, it's kind of a normality, but back then it just felt like, okay, so no, you don't want me. So you ain't want me. You ain't think I was good enough. You thought thought there was something better than me. So that affected me in a way because it was like, man, this is the team that drafted me number 2 overall, and now they're telling me that, nah, we feel like you just ain't good enough. And there's not really no one there to explain it to you. They're not telling you like, oh, we felt like this person shot the ball better than you did. There's no one explaining nothing to you. It's just like, oh, you just got to go over here because they want this instead. Yeah. And then I went to OKC, and, you know, I had to play with Russ, which was a great experience, obviously, watching him and being in that locker room and seeing how he carried himself and stuff. But it was an adjustment. I had just came from Orlando. Now I had to come here and learn a whole new system, play with a different type of caliber player in different environments, you know, that I wasn't really used to prior to that, which was good for me. And then after that year, you know, I get my first experience in the playoffs. You know, we lose 4-1, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm never having that again. I'm never ever, I'm never ever feeling like that again. I'm never feeling that embarrassed again. And then, you know, right after that, boom, I get traded again. You know what I'm saying? Without knowing. Both times I got traded. I'm on a plane. I'm going somewhere, and then I don't find out till I land that I'm getting traded. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of it's a different adjustment, obviously. Like, you know, it'd be cool to like even let us know, like, yo, you in trade talks. So like this week or this month or whatever, I'm just letting you know, like, you in trade talks. Like, I talk to your agent, or my agent say, you know, I just talked to the GM and the president or whatever, and they telling me that they shopping you around. So just be prepared. Anything could happen. Like, there was none of that. It was just, you know, you wake up one day, you on another team, and then you get on a flight, you land, you on a whole new team, and you got to do a whole new adjustments. And, you know, luckily for me, I went to Indy. And then I went to Indy. I had my year that I had there. And then, you know, the following year, I had a great first half of the year. And then, unfortunately, I got hurt. And then once you get hurt and you enter in that space of being a guy who is injury prone, even though, you know, it's just like, what? I'm not asking myself to get injured, but it's a whole different space. Mm-hmm. It's like it becomes a whole different, you know, outlook on who you are and how people treat you. And it was just, you know, I've been through every experience possible in the NBA, I feel like, and it's only done nothing but made me stronger. But mentally, you know, it's forced me to prepare mentally and become stronger mentally and learn how to deal with things better. Meeting people like you has done that as well. But, you know, the experience that I didn't ask for, that I had no choice but to deal with, it made me grow up. It made me more advanced and more advanced mentally and than I could ever imagine that I could be. And I know that now, sitting here with you and telling you this. But it's tough for guys who don't have the support, that don't have, you know, the family or the spiritual background or whatever you want to call it, to be able to deal with those feelings and emotions. And then just, they look to vices to to satisfy those feelings.
I understand that because like every time someone goes down, I have this moment where I want to reach out, and I want to know like, hey, who you going to? Who you going to for the surgery? Who you doing to rehab with? Like where your mind at? Like I genuinely want to know. Like when DeJounte went down, like I wanted to call him, like, hey, but I know that he's in good hands. But some, you just want to know, like, hey, you good, right? Like you going to the right doctor, you going to the right rehab. But like when he posts like certain things that are like, yo, I'm resilient, I'm gonna get through this. It kind of lets me know, like, okay, you gonna fight through because you gotta have like a lot of fight. It takes a certain individual to get through those injuries, and
it's not for the weak.
Yeah, it's not for the weak at all.
It's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. But it's all. Everything is about how you deal with it, man. Everything is a choice. Like, it's granted, even beyond the trades, even within the trades, like I was playing hurt. Like he'll tell you since 2019. This is the healthiest I felt my whole entire since 2019, probably.
Right now
is the healthiest
Currently.
I've felt since I've been hurt. Period.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. And it's because, the helter-skelter of dealing with, trying to figure out sports medicine and figure out what it is that works for me and figure out what is it that I'm trying to do. And on top of that, balance plan. And on top of that, the balance out trying to reach or have a certain standard for yourself. And on top of that, giving up on yourself too during that time. Like it's been so many roller coasters of feelings and emotions that I've had to deal with. But again, it's because of the choice that I don't plan on stopping until I want to. It's my life. Like I don't plan on stopping until it ends the way I know it should. And it's my life to decide that. And that's why, I reached out to DeJounte. I reached out to guys, and as like guys who might be dealing with stuff or not only injury, but just stuff in general. And I always tell them like, man, it's a choice, bro. You got a choice to make. Like you can make this break you or you can make it make you. And that's a real thing. And it sound cliche, and it's unfortunate that it's a part of our sport. And I think that has a lot to do with training and how guys are preparing. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But I say that to say, man, no matter what you're going through, if you really are persistent and you really tell yourself what you want to do and accomplish out of it, it's nothing stopping you from doing that unless you're listening to someone else and people telling you how to live. That's where you get wrong. That's where it goes wrong, when you keep listening to people tell you who you are. And that's the biggest thing I learned from being injured and going through what I've been through is can't nobody tell me who I am better than me. That don't exist. And that's for anyone going through anything, not just injury, life. You know what I'm saying? Life, it's not just injuries. It's not just, it's so many things that go into life that hit hard. But at the same, man, it's just all about. I could go on and on. This man, no, I could go on and on about that subject because that is real. It's just I was able to get out on the and see the light in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and get out of my dark place in a sense, and and some people don't. So if
that's
we
what
can, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm most excited about. Is like, kind of seeing the new Victor that has been through like a health and wellness journey, a spiritual journey, learning who I am, as a human and spiritually and mentally, and then being on the court with that, understanding and whatever obstacles you had to go through to get that and whatever you had to endure. It's almost like I'm appreciative of those because without those, you would just been the same.
Just been doing it.
Yeah, just like, and you would have been like, it would have been hard to kind of talk to you about it because it's hard to tell the guy that's making 200, 300 million that he's doing something wrong. It's hard to, it's like, what do you mean I'm doing something wrong? I'm
making all this money.
Yeah, that's what we doing, right?
That's the smoke and mirrors I'm talking about.
Exactly. So sometimes you need more to help you realize that there's more to life and there's more to learn. And, and it's really like up to you to kind of dig into that, and I'm glad that you did that.
That's real.
Vic, obviously, you worked really hard your whole life to be recognized as like one of the best basketball players in the world. And anybody that makes it to the league works incredibly hard to make it there. Why does it feel lately like the refs in the league take it lightly? Like why are some refs in the league that let their ego come before the game of basketball? And I just feel like these kids have been working from 8 years old, 5 years old, looking at Magic and Kobe and Jordan, and they're wanting to be the best basketball player possible. And it hurts me to know that our peers and our friends are working this hard, and sometimes the refs can just, and I'm not saying that they're like throwing games or they're even doing it on purpose, but sometimes it's like, as a professional, you calling the game, like, let's get it correct, instead of, I feel like sometimes they let their ego get in there where, they're trying to enforce like who they are as a ref, and it's like they can take guys out of their game and take guys out of the game because of, the powers that they may have. What's your thoughts on?
Well, I mean, first off and foremost, sports is entertainment, and it's and we all gotta know that too. Like, once you get to a certain point of sport, it becomes entertainment. And one thing we have to realize too is these everyone has an ego, including the refs. And it's very rare that you meet someone who knows how to swallow their own ego, swallow their pride.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's what's going on with the refs, but you have to take that into accountability when you're talking about people. And when it comes to the refs, they're human too, just like humanity. Most of humans, in my opinion, in the world, you chase what's hot. You want to be around what's hot. You want to be able to associate yourself with what's in. Mm-hmm. So those same refs could be on Instagram seeing the highlights. They could be seeing who's leading and scoring. I think so. At the end of the day, naturally, instinctively, if they see John Morant or they see someone that's who's being pushed more so than the other guy, they're gonna give him the benefit of the call. They're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And you can't fault them obviously for being human, but that's just how this works. And what I'm saying, like, there are times, obviously, this is a business too at the end of the day. So anything is possible. Anything is, there are many capabilities. But I do want to say there are great refs too. There are some refs who have great, who are respected, who have great reputations as well too. So, it's, no matter where you go, it's gonna be some good stuff and it's gonna be some bad stuff. It's just natural in life, whatever you're dealing with, especially when it comes to business and entertainment. There's gonna be some things you enjoy. There's gonna be some things you're just not really rocking with. And when it comes to refs, I think they fit that mold too. There's some refs who, are consistent and, really, you respect, and then there's some that's, just trash. Yeah, that's just normal. You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm not even talking just basketball. I'm just talking about like just in general. Yeah. Like, I feel like they've gotten to a place where like the Super Bowl is coming up. It's the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they could potentially three-peat. I feel like the Eagles got a better team, but the Chiefs know how to win. And then we all know, like, in our private talks, the refs help them sometimes. It's like, it don't matter what barbershop you go to, it's a thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's such a thing that is laughable. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but bro, Saquon and Jalen, they serious over there.
Nah, they good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a serious thing where it's like, bro, they've been dreaming about this their whole life. Mm-hmm. And then you know what I mean? You gonna strip them of that. And it's like, I think all action has a reaction. And I think that they need to have some type of consequence that's sufficient enough for them to not want to do, you know what I mean? To incentivize them to not want to make bad calls. Because right now, you're a ref, you make a bad call.
There's no penalty.
It's all good.
There's
no penalty, no nothing.
There's a report
you
next
know,
day.
Yeah, there's a report.
Say, we missed the call.
You know, the fans might get on you or whatever, but it's no real, like, players, you do something, it's a fine. You might not play the game. You know, the next day, there's consequences for the players. Mm-hmm. I don't really see no consequences for the refs, and I think that it's time to kind of figure out, okay, what's appropriate? What's the appropriate fines for them? What's the appropriate suspensions for them? Should we make a strike program where it's, 3 strikes you out, 10 strikes you out, where it's like, man, strikes are like just calls that was just like, dog, that was clearly pass interference and you just didn't call it,
it's funny, I think refs would be open to that name. I think it's a new time. Like the refs got social media. They got their own following. Like I know the ref that looked like Gucci Mane. He definitely got his own following.
He definitely got his own following.
I think my boy went to Purdue and everything. I know him real close. But I'm saying that to say, I think refs would be open to that and we would feel closer to you guys as players, and we would respect it more than if, unless, and this is just being devil advocate, unless there's other hands in the pot that's controlling what's going on to the degree of where we controlling narratives out here.
Right.
But if it's purely for the sport and for the love of the sport, I don't see why not. Why the refs wouldn't be like, okay, if it's something crucial and it's like, missing a goaltend in game 5 of the first round of the playoffs, you need to get fined for that. Mm-hmm. Just simple as that. Or you need to get a penalty, or what I'm saying, or something along the lines where, and if you get a certain amount of penalties, well then you can't ref in the finals. Mm-hmm. You can't be showcased as one of the great refs. That's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Because
I agree.
Think about the players that have gotten so many fines and so many, the NBA don't want to. The NBA not going to want to showcase you as one of the greats or one of because you messing with business. Mm-hmm. You messing with the likeness of the NBA, and the same thing I think happens with the refs. So I think they will be down for it. I've met plenty of refs. They all good people. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that just probably has to be implemented.
And like you say, man, they definitely got social media.
Oh, they swags high now.
Yeah, they definitely have friends and family. And it's like, I even think they should take away the camera time. We don't need to know their names. We don't need to see them on cam.
Give them that. Give them that.
Give them that.
Let them rock out.
Let them rock out. Need that, man.
Let them get it, dog.
I think that just makes it worse, dog. I really do. I really think that some of them like being on that camera, and they know, okay, in order to be on that camera, I gotta make a bad call. I'm telling you, bro, that spotlight, that reaction, that yearn for validation, that shit is a beast.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a part of the game too, like a bad call and then the boos from the crowd and the crowd saying, "Ref, you suck." It's a part of it too, which I don't think that's going. And finding them, it ain't gonna take away from that, bro, because they still gonna call shitty calls regardless, bro. So. I think that. But
that's why the strikes is like, you get 10 and you gone. You know what I mean? Gotta be something. Where it's like, okay,
or at least
I'm
if
it's
a number of they should have. I mean, and they got refs that are watching them ref the games back in New York, and then if there's a call that they don't come to an agreement with, then they'll go back. They'll go back to New York. But I feel like, those same refs that are in New York should critique the games too. And if there are games where you have a certain amount of missed calls, then that's a strike. And then
there you go.
And then obviously as it acquires over time, you see if they get a certain amount of strikes, 10, 20 strikes in a then you got to question if it's more than 20, then you got to question whether they need to be doing the job.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they will after this show.
Yeah, I mean, because we are. It depends, but I think we're all wanting the integrity of the game to be intact. all of us, like refs, the executives, the fans,
Everybody.
the players. Like, I think it's in the best interest of the game to keep the integrity intact.
I feel you on that, especially from the fan standpoint.
Correct,
Because the fan, they don't want it to be a business.
No, they want
They
to
be
watch a pure
game.
basketball game.
Exactly. They don't look at it like it's a business. They look at it like, and without the fans, what is sport?
It's nothing.
We seen that. We seen that
during COVID.
We seen that. So the fan wanted to be their favorite team playing a man's favorite team, and we want our favorite team to win. It's not, it don't have nothing to do with, the ratings to them. You know what I'm saying? They don't really care nothing about that. They want their favorite team and their favorite players to win. That's pretty much it. So
for sure.
That's just, we'll see though. We'll see. And now we're gonna go into our next segment, Soundtrack to the Soul. Let's move into it. I'm a huge fan of music, as you guys may know, all sorts of genres. But my brother Nieman, you've been heavily involved in the industry for a number of years, brother. Outside of being my manager, what was it like being a manager in that world?
In the music world.
In the music world.
Yeah, man. In the music world, the manager is like everything. The manager is like the financier. Every manager in music understands, like, you're going to pay for something for sure. Whether it's a track, whether it's the outfits, whether it's like the videos, you're going to be a part of it. And with that being said, like, you become the label, which is like everything. You become the accounting department, the marketing department, the A&R, the logistics person. Like, management is very, it's like every hat, and I forget, but like a lot of artists, you mentioned them. I forget. Oh, that was Kendrick. He was talking about Dave Free, and he was like, "Yeah, Dave." I don't like, if you pay attention, you just hear him just recently being like, "Yeah, Dave." I think he did on the album. It was a song where he was like, "Yeah, Dave had many hats." He was, and he was naming all of those roles because that's what in music that's what the manager is doing. Almost every job and like on every position. So like when you sign to the label, it's like you babysitting every position. You be babysitting the A&R department. You babysitting the manager, the marketing, the merch, the touring. You're vetting out.
My fault, bro.
You're vetting out. Who y'all gonna sign with. Which is interesting because you guys have. The CAAs and the WMEs, and we have that. And with that, in our world, they do our touring. So they set up our tours. And then it's, on the manager to kind of be like, the artist is like you're almost their husband and wife. Like, you talk to your artist almost more than your family. It's like every day, keeping everything in line, making sure their head is on correct, making sure, if they write their songs, like that their headspace is in the right headspace to, and understanding the climate of where music is and where it's going and what people like, because true artists, they want to create, and they want to create from the heart. But what happens is, we live in a world where it's like a follow the leader type of world. So, I also always like to reference Doja Cat. So like Doja Cat, I was listening to Doja Cat like in 2012, 13, and Doja Cat is like, if you listen and go back to those videos, she's really, really talented. I'm talking about like, she's directing the video, coming up with the treatment, is very visual, very just artsy, And what happens is like some artists too artsy for the consumer. And so you gotta dumb it down. And so as a manager, you gotta kind of figure out how you take your artists and their art, but make it compatible and sellable to the world and what they're on at the moment. That's why I think it's so tough in music now to be a manager or A&R, because how do you make Jello, I might swerve on that corner, whoa. Like, how do you know that that's gonna work?
My bad.
You know what I'm saying? No. Like, because how do you know, like, how do you tell your serious artist to make like a laughable song? You know what I mean? And
I see what you're trying to say. Like, it's like Jello's not an artist.
Yeah, but the song is like we play it as like an artist. Me and my daughter in my car.
Well, he is now. But
we put that song on to laugh. We're not putting it on like, oh, listen to the lyrics, they tough.
Some people do though, man. Some people really want to swerve in that corner.
I mean, maybe they do, but for the most part, I think it's like, I mean, and there's a lot of artists that I feel the same way about, where it's like, bro, how do you sign like that? We're honestly, like, it's not like the talent. And even I think even she agrees, like Sexy Red would agree, like I heard like a quote from her, like where she's like, man, they just found a ghetto girl from the hood and just put some songs on me. You know what I mean? Like I ain't really.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And it's like, but how do you tell
someone who's
the artist?
Yeah, who's
you know what I'm saying? Like that's like they're serious about their craft. You know what I mean? And they're studying wordplay. They studying BPM. They studying harmonies. They studying melody. They go in there and write their own words, but then Jello
you just
come in and get more
corner.
Notoriety than him. You gotta, like, as a manager, you have to weigh all of that and kind of like keep your artists in on the, like, all right, we gotta kind of, you gotta find your middle ground. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny too? I wanna ask this question because I would consider what you do the American dream. I wouldn't consider what I do the American dream. I would consider what I think most people in the world want to do what you do, want to manage people.
What?
Yes, I do. And I think that the average human wants to manage people too. And I want to say that in so much respect to what you do, because I want you to talk about how, first off, did you know you wanted to be a manager from the very beginning of you living in life? Two, why is it not easy being a manager, not only of artists, athletes, but it being on top of that, managing your home and who you are too. You know what I'm saying? And then tell me what the difference is with managing a basketball player versus managing an artist. Yeah,
I mean, I didn't always want to manage, like I was doing real estate first, and I was doing really, really good at it, and it came out of nowhere because, I grew up in Compton, and I also, like, just Black and Japanese, so my Japanese side kicks in on my age, so I don't look my age. So when I was starting real estate, I looked 16, and it just made me have to go that much harder to obtain clients and sell them homes. It's like their biggest asset ever that they gonna do. Most people or buy, So I went really, really hard. I did really, really well at it, and my best friend at the time was Eric Bellinger, and he was like, yo, he had been in these singing groups for like 8 years. He went to one group 4 years, went to another group 4 years, didn't really materialize. And he was like, all right. But during the process, I'm like, yo, I think you should go solo. I think you should be a solo act. I think you're always the lead singer. You always the most talented. You care about it more than most. And then he was like, well, will you help me? And then that's where the management came in. We didn't even know that wording, until we actually started making a little bit of noise. But it was really just me helping him, because, like, if we were to talk about it now that we've did the whole 14-year stretch of it all, I was never only the manager. That was just the word that we knew. I was the label. I was the whole everything. That was every department.
Ran
you know
it
what I'm
all.
saying? So that's how the management started. I mean, basketball and music. Music is like sports, basketball, there are a lot of moving parts, but not as many as music. And in the moving parts, like music is like, you need a cover art. If you're gonna shoot a video, you need a treatment. In just the song alone, there's gonna be a producer, might be 3 producers, which on the paperwork side means that I gotta have producer agreement for all 3 producers, which means I may be talking to 3 different lawyers on one song, and negotiating splits and fees with every single producer. So that's just one song. You know what I'm saying? And if you got a guy like Eric, we doing 30 songs an album and we putting out 4 every year. So every day I'm talking to a lawyer, a producer, and it's a money talk every time, most of the time. So you had to deal with that. And, I think that the money is different. Like the budgeting is different. Like I think for you guys, you guys' budget, depending on the player, is just a little bigger than an artist, depending on which artist you are. And I think that it's tough in music because music is relative. The audience actually has to like you.
Exactly.
So there is no real recipe. Like, it's not like I can be like, hey, Jane Doe, like, I can make you a star. Like, there's nobody that can do that. Like, these people have to like you, especially now that they have so many options. So it becomes tough because it could be like a really good rapper or a really good singer that has really good vocal talent and sounds amazing, but their people may not they may not relate to you. They may, and that's what kind of like separates the stars from just like the regular, like the Jeremiahs of the world, and that's not even like a knock on Jeremiah, because if you talk to him, he'll be like, yeah, I don't really want to do the superstar thing. Like, I'm cool, like right here, like I can still kind of go outside. I don't have to like do too many things that I don't want to do. I don't shoot videos for my songs. Like, I'm kind of like, he's like in basketball would be like, and I just love the game, and what's different about y'all game is like, if you put up the stats, you're going to get paid.
For sure.
It don't matter if the people like you or not.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, the team's still going to pay you. So that's what's like like some of the main differences. And then like you guys is like, so, but on the contrary, you're like sports, music guy, his schedule might be like, okay, he wake up at 1 o'clock, he might eat, and then it might be studio at 8. Then he do studio for about 4 hours. Then he got a club hosting. Then you do the club hosting, you out till 2. Go back to the stew. You in the stew till 6. And there's no real discipline there. Like, you don't need to be that disciplined to be an artist. But in basketball, it's kind of like, it's your body. Your body is what creates the outcome. So I got to take care of my body. So yeah, I may go out, but it's not, I'm not, if you in the club and you see basketball players, most of the time, it's going to be a real reserve, real like, yeah, I'm going to work out in the morning, but so that's another difference as well, is like, you got to be a lot more disciplined and take care of your body way more to be an athlete than an artist.
Yeah, I feel you. I can understand that. You know, I've you know, obviously we met through music, and you know, entering the world, your world, and being with you, entering in that space. You know, it was quite an eye opener for me. You know, just being in that experience and seeing that experience. What was it like having that independent label and understanding that you were going up against labels that might not have been like you, but still finding success in it? What was it that you did to make sure that you were going to get the most out of it no matter what, regardless of competing with these other labels that, you know, might look at you differently?
I mean, because first off, I never looked at it like we were competing with the label, because it was like, if I can get people to like me as an artist or my artists for who they are and create music and keep them, you know, keep them involved and keep the interaction, it was nothing that anybody could do to break that, you know, that fan direct to consumer engagement. It was just like, if they like me, they like me. You can't do nothing about that. You know, so I never felt like we were competing with the label. You know, it was just more so like, I just got to get the fans. You know what I mean? And if I get the fans, everything else will come. And I just, you know, I started in real estate, and I started, you know, as I became bigger in real estate, started to understand money in a different way than most. And so when I would see the certain deals come in, I would be able to recognize like, oh, this is a loan, but it's a really bad loan. You know, nobody would take this if we were like not in the music business. Like if you went to a bank and they told you those terms, you would be like, nah, I'm cool. You know, but it's just the norm in music. So I just kind of was like, well, I really don't need your money for this. Like I can get it another way. And then I just did, you know, and then it was like, it wasn't really that tough of the decision for me, you know, because it was like, I can go get the same amount of money you guys are offering me and in another way at a lower interest rate and do the same thing with it. Because if you know music and you look behind a curtain, like the best PRs are just out there ready to be hired. You just need the money. Like the best, like, you know, and you start understanding the way radio work, the best radio promo guys. If you want to go to radio, you need a radio promo guy. Like he know all the DJs, he know all the PDs, the MDs, you know, and I mean, whether you like it or not, like them songs that's getting played on the radio, they paying for them, you know, and if you got the budget, you know, if you think that your song can go to radio, we could test it. You know, you spend like 30, 40 grand, you test it, and then you get the feedback. And if a certain type of feedback come back, that's when you know you gotta put the bread in. Yeah. You know, but you know, that was like that you know, that was it was kind of clear, like for me, like, yo, the independent way was the way to go. And then that was like 13, 14 years ago, and I was doing it in R&B. Because like there had been guys like E40 and what's the guy from Houston with the beard, the dude, Slim Thug. They was like independent, Master P. You know, in rap, they was doing it. You know, it was some guys doing it, but in R&B, there wasn't nobody in R&B really doing independent, because R&B, it costs more too. Yeah. It just costs more. But yeah, man, that's the way, you know, I just felt like we should attack it. It was a smart way. And I was just like attacking our strengths. And what Eric's strength was he was able to create his own songs. Right. And he had an ability from God to get concepts very quickly. Melodies came to him from God, and he had the ability to write a song very quickly. So my whole method was like, well, we're gonna make 100 songs and I'm gonna pick 10. 10 gonna be good, and we gonna hit them every quarter. You know what I'm saying? We're going to just keep hitting them. And that was going to be the difference between us and somebody on a label. Because if you on a label, it's so much red tape. Like, just to drop one song, you got to have this clear, and then you got to hit marketing, and you got to, everybody got to agree on it. And then it's like, you can have a song artist on a label, hey, I want to drop this. From that day, it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 months till they drop. Versus me and Eric could come to me, hey, I want to drop this song. I could drop it the next day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the rate in which I was giving out product. Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
It was a little more freedom.
Yeah.
And so independent. So we got a question from production.
All right.
So let me check the question out. Was there ever an AHA moment for you?
Aha.
Oh, aha. Let's run that back. AHA? Okay. Was there ever an aha, excuse me, y'all, was there ever an aha moment for you, Nieman, where you realized how multi-faceted VO was from a talent perspective, with how many different areas he was talented in? He's a world-class basketball player, singer, sports analyst. As a talent manager, I'm sure it's not all the time you meet a guy like VO.
Yeah, nah, definitely. Like, you know what I mean? It happened like instantly, you know what I'm saying? And then it just kept growing, like, because when they introduced me to VO, I was so into music. I was like a music purist, if you could like understand where me and Eric, the way we love music is just different. Like, we were listening to cassette tapes on the way to school every day, rewinding the tape. Hey, did you hear that melody? Hey, did you hear the lyric? Hey, did you hear how he said it? So the pure way that you guys love basketball is the way that we love music.
Right.
And so, there's no disrespect to sports people doing music, but when I would hear that, it was like, I would never take it serious because it was just like, they don't understand the love of, it's like if Eric was like, or like Jeremiah was like, hey, they want to play in the game, like in the arena, like you'll be looking, see how you laughing? Like that's
only because I seen them.
It's like, you'll be laughing like, nah, bro, like you can't even come to the practice, bro. Like you trying to get in the practice, you trying to get a rep.
Yeah.
Like you'll be like, nah. So, it was Sam was like, hey man, you gotta meet my boy Victor.
Sam Hook.
Yeah, Sam Hook. And real respected writer from New York. So, he about his business, and he was like, it was kind of like pushing the money of it all. Like, he's like, hey, he just signed for $84 million, And it was like, at the time, I was like, bro, you can't really motivate me with no money. Like, we already making money. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, he was just like, yo, he want to do a song with Eric. I'm like, all right, cool. So we went to the studio, and you could sing, though. You know what I mean? Like, you could really sing. I was like, oh, like, he really attacking this. I was like, all right. And then you're so much like Eric. Like, he's my best friend, but you guys had so many different personality traits that were, like, similar. And, we had, like, a natural, like, connection, where it was like, after that day, I might have spent like 2 weeks with you every day, which was rare for me, because it was just like, I didn't, people know me, like, I don't really want to hang out with too many,
It became deeper than basketball after those 2 weeks, but after it became deeper than music, after the 2 weeks. Like, for me personally, my bad to cut you, like, for me, it was like, it was around the time, too, when I had just first got to the Pacers, like right before the year I went crazy, year and a half, 2 years I went crazy. And Neem, during that time, Neem was just intrigued because Neem didn't watch basketball.
Yeah. Like,
Neem didn't watch basketball at all. So it was kind of cool for me, like, to meet someone who don't watch sports. And the first thing one of the first questions I always remember this Neem was like, well, what is it like to be you? And it was like, well, no one's ever asked me that. And, I don't know if it's because, people think they know what it is like to be me from seeing what they perceive. But that was he was one of the first individuals to sit me down in my whole basketball career and ask me that question. Well, what is it like to be you? Like, what does that feel like? What is it like? And from that question on, it became like all the way, like that was at 2016, 2017. And we've been close ever since then, to the point where it was when because Neem didn't manage me at first. Right. And, you know, I was thinking with my second injury, I knew I needed to make changes. It was just apparent. And, you know, I was really, you know, I didn't even ask Neem. Neem was more so like, bro, if you need help, I'll help you. And it just seemed like, bro, like, it was just like, oh, man, it felt like the weight was lifted off my chest when he said that. It was just like, yes, bro. It didn't take but 2 seconds. Like, bro, I really need your help right now. And he ain't hesitate. What people don't understand is we was friends. We was close friends. Like he just told you, like we spent 2 weeks together, but then 2 weeks became
until still now.
Bro, all the way till now, bro. But it's true though.
But you know, to get back to like the talent, as you spend more time with VO, like you just you see the levels of talent. You know what I mean? Where like VO is like one of the kids that he'll sing like, and in music we know like everybody is not that where it's like, hey, sing right now. You know, like that's like a moment where it's like, oh, here we go, let's see. You know what I mean? But like VO is that, like he'll sing right now. You know what I mean? Like I've been with bro at the NBA awards, like when they about to give him his most improved player, and that was not a planned thing. You know, where Anthony Anderson was like, hey, yeah, like, hey, VO, get up and sing. Like, I'm talking about everybody in that room. You know what I'm saying? Like, James about to win the MVP. Khaled sitting right there. Like, you know, and he just like, boom, and just banged it out. I was, you know, I mean, you quickly see it. Like, you know, he'll hit any trendy dance moves, like, he gonna hit them. You know what I mean? He gonna know all the... And he don't want to put me on the Afro beats. There it go right there.
Yeah, that's it right there.
That's it right there. Like where it's just like, bro came up and was like.
Thank you, sir. By the way, you know, I got an album coming out too soon, Khaled. You know, whenever you're ready, we could do that. But I might do a little something for y'all. You know, I can sing a little bit, but. Okay.
See, you can see Khaled's face right there where he like, oh shit, yeah, this could go either way.
Oh, let me stand up.
Please stand, sir.
Acting this out, bro. What?
Man, what?
I see the suit. Did you see the ashy ankles?
He don't let that bother him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just.
It took 4 years, 3 months, 2 weeks, and a Sunday for you to love me Monday. All it took was one day for me to love you. 4 years, 3 months, 2 weeks, and a Sunday for you to love me Monday.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like,
give it up to Victor.
Everybody can't do that, fam. I'm telling you.
Heck nah. But you know what's crazy is like, bruh, like, yo, I don't know why I be doing that. I don't know where it come from. I don't know what it is that but I do know, like, when it's time to perform, like when the lights is on, like
that's the key. When the lights is on,
my light shine brighter than ever, bro. For some reason, like I don't know, it's just something I don't run from for some reason. And you know, it's crazy because he'll sit here and he'll be like, but I won't talk about myself like that. Like I'm that talented, and he'll tell you like I won't. And it's because maybe I just feel like I don't necessarily have the love that I feel like from others. Maybe that's what it is. I don't have the love from others that I feel like, you know, I'm like, damn, I feel like more people should take a liking to me, not because I want it, but because I feel like, man, there's so much things I could help y'all and teach y'all. And man, I'm like, man, I should be like way bigger than this. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to me because it's like, man, I'm so thankful for what I have already. That's why I really ain't tripping off the what it looks like or how it feels. I'm not really super active on, you know, social media or anything like that. But, you know, for me, it's like, it's the love. It's the love. I have too much love for people, like for people in general, like and being able to do this and share that gift with people is what I live for, and my gift with people is what I live for. I just love the stage. I love the reactions. I love people standing, and it is just something I enjoy a lot. Like I don't care if every eye is on me. I really don't. It's not something I shy away from. And after a while, when I realized everybody was human, and as my dad say, everybody pisses and poops, just like pisses and poops, just like everybody do. It's just like, well, it don't always got to be perfect, but the being able to do it and have the courage to do it is a gift in itself too. So
no, it is.
I'm just thankful that God blessed me with that as well too. So
it is like, bro, because bro is a real gamer. Like, and I'm not talking about the video games. I'm talking about like when the stage is set and them lights is on and that pressure hit, you want him to have the ball or the mic or the, you know what I mean? Like he gonna turn it on, and it was interesting that summer before the Pacer year, that was like my introduction to VO, like in basketball and, like the game. And going into it without knowing anything about basketball, I knew that result was going to happen. Like, I didn't know, I didn't have no other thought. Like, it was like, nah, because I watched the summer, I watched the progression, I watched the transformation of body, I watched the focus, and I was like, anyone who does anything like that, and then, I was hearing the talks of like, yo, he was gonna be a starter, so he was gonna play. So it was like, all right, yeah, nah, he gonna do his thing. So like for me, it was interesting because I was expecting that result. So to hear like, on ESPN and like the most improved player award was like a thing for me. Like, wait, what y'all mean? Like, they didn't expect that, but it was like, oh, yeah. Y'all didn't expect that. I did. It's like, it was a very interesting. So I knew nah, this is a different human. Like, this is a different talent. I recognized it like fairly quickly.
Yeah. Man, I just want to take the time out to give bro his flowers too. Like, like a lot of people don't know him, Nieman, but bro he has, I already had a certain light, but he's made me see the actual light I had. So all that stuff we talked about, I didn't even know I was doing it. I was just doing it. Now I have an understanding of who I am completely. And I did that without knowing who I was. So now I have a whole different mentality, a whole different spectrum of myself and how I'm gonna attack the rest of my life. And Nieman has, if not, he has a ton of credit for that. I want to say, like, bro, don't stop looking for connections like me and Nieman, because Nieman was clear across the country in California, and I'm clear across the country in Maryland, and I never thought I'd meet a human being or individual like bro, however many 20 plus years later, and have this connection that we have now. That's going to last a lifetime. Yeah. And I just want people to know, like, because there are people out there who are looking for that, looking for someone who is not afraid to hold them accountable, who can have conversations and then not feel like we trying to attack one another, who don't do nothing but pour into each other, who love each other, who respect, especially within males. And I feel like that's really important, guys, man. It's really, really important because we need each other. We need to have those brother conversations, those men conversations more. And we need to be honest with each other about it and not feel like we're going to treat each other differently because of it or look at each other differently because of it. And if there's one thing that Nieman taught me, man, throughout this whole thing is, man, don't be afraid to be real. Like, be your authentic self at all times. And people just going to have to deal with that. And, you know, I think that, you know, man, there's so many things I could say about bro on camera. There's so many things, and vice versa, obviously. But we working together because, you know, we not just doing this podcast just for ourselves. We really trying to help individuals the best way we can because we understand each other's power, and we here to help each other, you know, flourish in that power and continue to add to it. So I'm looking forward to our future. And we just gonna keep making noise, man. I ain't nowhere near done yet. Trust me, and believe you me, he'll tell you. But I'm gonna show you for sure.
Man, I received that, bro. And likewise, bro, like feelings is mutual. You know what it is with me, man.
Oh God.
And like he said, like we really just want to shine light and improve others as much as possible in all aspects to show people who they really are. And, you know, to enlighten others so that they can live the lives that they want and so that we can flourish as a species on Earth.
Universal, the whole universe.
Like,
for real.
like the whole universe,
The whole
you know?
jealous, for real.
Honestly.
But, all right. So, bonus segment. Quick fire questions. All right, we going to hit the questions. They on, you know what I'm saying? Everybody listen up. Top 5 vocalists of all time. You go first, cuz.
Yeah.
You the music
my
guy.
favorite is Kim Burrell,
Tough.
gospel singer. Second is another gospel singer, Kiki Sheard. I really appreciate Brandy's vocal.
Yeah, she's on my top
Full
5
Moon,
too.
You know, like in particular. Who else? You know, I would say, like, I really like Usher's voice. Usher is really, he can sing really good. And Mario. Mario is like,
He might be the best ever I
yeah,
heard
Mario
live.
is tough.
He might be the
super
best ever I
tough.
heard live. I heard him in a club. It sounded like it was the real track.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
For me, I don't know, man, it's tough for me because, you know, my music ranges, it's hard for me to pick because I love like music in general, but I would put Brandy up there for sure. I love her voice. I love Whitney Houston. I love Michael Jackson. I love Usher as well. And then, you know, really for me, Chris Brown. Chris Brown raised me low key.
Chris can sing.
Chris can sing like
He don't
a
get the credit, but he can sing.
But bro,
No, he can sing.
like bro set college on fire for me. So
Nah,
I really
Chris
appreciate
is
that.
a
For sure.
Chris is a talent,
For sure.
like generational talent.
Nah, he
like,
unreal. He unreal. He probably shouldn't even really be in the top. He probably above all the top. But you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna throw him in there. When are we getting another VO music project name?
You know, lately I feel like we just been so on a mission to like get back on the court that I just feel like
It'll come when
I
it's
really
come
that
naturally.
is my main focus. I don't want like cause you know, like you gotta keep the main thing,
That's a
you know,
fact.
and that's what my whole phrase and mentality has been through these rehab years is like, man, the music will be there. You know what I mean? Like, but I know Victor Oladipo, like in his soul, what feeds his soul is basketball.
That rectangle.
Yeah, like like I said, the passion that he has for basketball is like the passion that I have for music. And I know what that is enough to know like the music can't wait. We need to get in that rectangle. And if anybody know me, like once I put my mind to something, that's going to happen. So for me, it's like, I mean, we got projects done. It's just,
Plethora.
hold on. Like, I don't even want cause even with the pod, it's like, I know it won't get misconstrued because we're going to continue to say it like he just said 2 minutes ago. I'm not done. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't, you know, we can push the narrative on here. Like we're trying to get in the rectangle right now. Once we get that solidified, we'll get another album.
That's a fact. I concur. Do you see the current Cavs squad potentially winning a chip in the near future, or do they get bumped out of the East by the Celtics? I'll let you go first.
Okay. Man, that's tough.
It is.
That's tough. This one is definitely gonna go 6-7. You know, it's gonna go game 6, game 7.
6-7 games.
I think
who got the edge? Who got the edge?
That's what I was gonna say. I just think in the experience column,
I knew you was gonna say that.
Boston is just
They just
been
more
there.
experience, yeah.
You know, all the guys came back. They on a mission. They felt that feeling, what it feels like, so they know what they are playing for exactly. You know, and I would give the edge to the Celtics.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think, but we both agree that Cleveland is a really good team, though.
Correct.
And they're really, really, they've had an incredible year.
Yes.
It's just that I feel like Boston is a little more experienced and a little more deep than they are. So I think down the stretch in a 7-game series, I think Boston's bench can win a couple games over Cleveland's bench.
And to the homies over in Cleveland, we you know,
please,
we
don't
not
take
saying
this as
like
disrespect.
just use this as fuel.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Trust me, we respect y'all to
We
the
know what it is over
degree.
there.
We know what it is over
Y'all
there. We
tough
see
now.
it. We watching.
Yeah.
Watching we watching. But
So what's your favorite NBA achievement?
my favorite NBA achievement was a great question. I would have to say two things. The first one is being called number 2, the number 2 pick in the draft. That one was my favorite just because the year before I wasn't on any draft boards. So I wasn't on anybody's radar. Nobody thought I would even be an NBA player. And then the following year, I was the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. That's who y'all dealing with.
Yeah.
So
that's big time.
And then my second achievement is most improved player, because I had just got traded twice in a year. And, you know, when I went there, they kind of traded me for Paul, who, you know, I love. That's my man. And, you know, they kind of, you know, I seen the noise. You know, I heard the noise. I heard the, you know, they OKC committed highway robbery and all that jazz. But everybody got an opinion. But everybody ain't built for this, trust me. Everybody talk, everybody got something to say, everybody want to be the one. But there's only one, trust me. All y'all can keep talking, everybody can keep having their opinion and how they feel about things, but I could care less. Trust me. So that's why it felt so good to be able to go in there. And obviously that's like you said, like everything you said and we've talked about just reflects that's who I am. You give me that role again, just see, you'll see. Give me that role. Give me that role again, and see what happens. I mean, it's just who I am. It's just that's why I was successful. That's why I worked the way it worked, is because that's who I am. I am that guy. I am. It's in me. It's not on me. It's in me. Trust me.
No, I love that. I can't wait either. Because I feel like I have no doubt in my mind it's going to happen again. It's just we just got to get on a team. And then once we get on that team, we have an exact plan on how we're going to attack it. Mm-hmm. So, Vio, what artist would you want to release a project with right now if you could pick anybody?
Right now? Dang, that's a great question.
Anybody.
All right, can I get a top 7 at least?
Man, this your world.
All right, cool. Say less. Number 1 would be Chris Brown. I would want to do a project with him. That would be really cool. If I could do a project with Wizkid, that would be really dope for me. If I could do a project with I want to do a project with this. I want to do a project with athlete artists. So like an album, but with athlete artists on it. So like Dame, Jello, everybody who's an athlete and an artist, and do something like that. I think that would be really cool. I would love to do a project with Jamie Foxx.
Jamie,
you know that's
Foxx.
my man.
Yeah, that's our guy. Jamie.
You know I love him. I would love to do a project with her. I love her voice.
Wow.
I think that would be really cool too. I would love to do a project with Arya Starr. She's another Afro beats artist.
Yeah.
I think that would be really dope as well. Yeah, I mean, shoot. And if I could do an artist, do a rap joint, Gunna for sure. I would want to do a project with Gunna
I
because
like Gunna, man.
I love what he's doing too with his body and how he's working, and it's reflecting in his work too. And you know, I just feel like we would connect on that level as well. So I would love to do that too. And my boy Boss Man, D-Lo.
That's our favorite.
We would do that because he loves sports. Like he talk about basketball. Oh man, it would be crazy. But it's so many good artists out right now. I'm a big fan too. Lotto, I respect her a lot too. I think she doing her thing big time as well. So you know,
all of y'all that he named, we inviting y'all to the show, man. Y'all come on and have a convo with us.
Yeah, that would be love for sure. It would be great to see everyone and bring them on here. And it's love too. Like I was telling Neem a while ago, like I want to create a space for the rarity in the world. Meaning like, you know, just the 1%ers and, you know, the people who, you know, kind of step out a little bit more than the rest. And a safe place where we don't feel like we come in here and we gotta not be ourselves and it's not filmed. It's not like it's something that, you know, it's just something that's just pure and we could tell each other stories and how we've overcome, you know, adversity and what was it like? You was in a garage doing this and that. Like, what was you thinking about that was keeping you afloat, that didn't help you, even though the world around you wasn't calling your name, wasn't saying that it was your time? Like, what was in you that was making you feel like otherwise? What was it? What was you telling yourself? What was driving you? I want to have those conversations with the Drakes, with the Kendricks, and yeah, they beefing, but oh well. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to have those conversations with those greats about that. You know what I'm saying? And how and see how we connect on a deeper soul level. That's it, really. So if y'all can come on the show, that's the kind of space we're trying to create here. A more pure space, a space where, you know, you could just freely be your authentic self and not be judged for it or looked at differently for it.
For sure.
And take you as you are because it ain't on you. It's in you. The inner core. Peace and love.